Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Back with another update on the 1A fantasy build. You guys can see we have the roof on now, and I'm going to go over some of the modifications that I did to the roof, because the roof is built a little different between the original Ecto-1 and the 1A. Lens mocks kind of have you do it a couple different ways. On this version, it's different because Lens has you integrating the striping into the roof, but as I've talked about in the past, I wanted that striping to open with the doors. You guys can see the nice suicide door there, opens really cool. Kind of the same on the others where I've talked about it. It is a little tight, but that's alright because it actually helps kind of hold the door closed. It almost kind of like locks into place, and you kind of have to lift it up a little bit to open. Not too much effort into that though, so that's all really cool. But you guys can see I got that striping actually attached to the windows, so it opens with the doors, as it should. And I'm going to show you guys on the both different mocks on what I've changed to get that. So here you guys can see, find my mouse here. Oh, there we go. So here you guys can see at the top of my screen there, I'm on the Ecto-1 Classic. So that's the original Ecto-1. And then over here, we'll click on this. And then this is the 1A build. So you guys can see some differences in some of the structure right here. We have some modified plates with studs in the middle. On this one, you don't have that. We have these hooks on here on the first version. On the second version, we don't have that. So basically what I did was I built the roof internally per the 1A mock. I'll just kind of scroll through that. So right here is where I had to start making changes. So you guys see these white 1x2 plates that are on the sides. That is part of working forward on how you start to build the striping on the roof. And here you guys can see all the orange and black 1x2 plates and how that's actually built in to the roof line. And this just kind of shows you some of the layering with some of these plates. And then we have this piece which locks into a couple things up here, but then you guys can see using a bunch of these 1x2 slope tiles. So I'm going to switch over to the other one. So this is back. So basically, like I said, I built the roof line up to that point on here. These kind of big slope pieces are in the same place. These are not, these are completely different. This whole area is completely different. But this piece is in the same place. And then you guys can see here we're actually using the brick slopes for the roof line. And that goes all the way up to the front. So, I like this better than using all of these plates and tiles, especially with no longer doing the striping in here. I didn't have a need for it being built this way. And so pretty much I took the whole internal structure of the 1A build and then just modified the sides here with how it is on the original Ecto-1 build. And that gives me this much better roof, especially up front here. It's built up a little bit nicer. I kind of like it. The front section here is kind of built off on its own. You guys could see from the my computer there that was only showing like here back. This whole front section is built on its own. Other than modifying these areas here, which are kind of in the mock, you know, this is all 1x2s that are attached, and even this is different with some plate work and some tile work. But the majority of the cars, those three versions, were all built off the base of the mock for the original version, so they all had the original roof line. And I wanted all the Ectos to have the exact same roof build, so that's why I once I figured out a really nice simple way to get the striping on the doors, then I wanted all these roofs to be exactly the same, just with whatever modifications they have for what era they are. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Like I said, I basically internally I built the roof structure for the 1A, but then once it came time for some of this external stuff, I utilized the mock for the first build. Works a lot better. And then I have my areas where the tank is going to sit, the holders that hold the big tank back here, and then the two spots where that longer light bar is going to sit. So basically all that stuff right there. So, and then I can show you guys on this one here. This, per the mock, was actually, the striping was built on the back door, so the striping would move with the door. The only thing I changed back here was, on Lens's mock, it was actually using shorter windows and some clear plates, and it looked a little busy for me, so I ended up just using these taller single-piece windows. Sadly, I can't use the whole one-piece window because it doesn't have studs in this area to hook these two, so I had to use these windows, so that way I had studs to put the striping on. So, but that kind of explains a little bit more of why I'm making sure all these roofs are the same. I really don't want like big building changes like that, because it is vastly different in these corners, and it looks really different down here. The only other thing that I kind of had to integrate is the little cutout for where the hoses sit. So you know, eventually we'll have the fenders on and everything, and those hoses will be attached, and they come up here. Well, because of these boards here, and you guys can see on this one, those boards I found to interfere with the fitment of the hoses, and those hoses would actually torque up on this side and make this whole board tilt forward, and I didn't like that, so I did modify this little valley area to be a little bit deeper and work a little bit better for those hoses to lay in there, so that way when we have those boards on there, it's not such a big issue with fitment anymore. And then something else that I'm changing, I'll show you guys here. Some of the tile work on top here. So if you guys have kind of been following on the past few Ecto projects, you guys know I kind of went through a whole rack redesign for these cars, and instead of utilizing these 1x2 areas, which were a little bit too bulky, I'm using a bunch of basically double stacked of those 1x1 black plates, and leaving myself just one area here, as you guys can see, of where the rack will sit, and that looks a little bit more prototypical, a little bit cleaner, a little bit more detailed. So still have some tiling to finish up here clearly, and then start to build up some of the details on the roof. So, but I wanted to make sure I covered kind of everything I've done on the roof to this point, and I'll see if I can scroll up and find, let's see here. So here you guys can kind of see that, how that little cutout was for the hoses. And especially with all the tile work in here, that was really different. So now it's a little bit better, a little bit more simpler. I had to change out a few things. I'm mostly using 1x2 slope tiles here, and then kind of a 2x2 sloped square right here. So, but that gives me a really nice dip in that area for those hoses to sit, and then those boards don't interfere with that anymore. So just little things that I've kind of figured out with building the car and trying to fix a few things, because I did when and some of you might remember when I first built that 1A right there, I did everything kind of per the book. Even you know, the striping was attached to the roof, and I just didn't like that. So you guys kind of saw I went back and changed a lot of stuff redesigned on the rack for a little bit more detail. So all those changes will go on here, plus a few more. We're not done with the changes. Like I said, I do want to integrate the ladder back on this side. So I kind of have to figure some stuff out and see if it is possible to clear those boards with the ladder. So a few things to figure out yet, but the biggest thing was just getting that suicide door and the gunner seat in here. So now you're really starting to see the 1A with this door and the gunner seat. So it's really cool to see it all pop out. You guys can see it's really not much different from the last one. I just turn it by hand and then the seat's out. So, but it is really cool. As you guys saw before I put the roof on, there's a lot going on in there with the computer and some of the extra gadgets and stuff like that. So it's a really cool interior. But yeah, you guys can see the seat just flips around, slides back in there really nice. Door closes, locks back in place. So everything's going good. So I'll bring you back on some of the roof detail stuff. Kind of show you guys how I do some of that when I get to it. So hopefully you guys enjoy this update, and looking forward to the next one. And hopefully you guys are learning something if you kind of want to re-engineer your own version. So but yeah, that's it for this one. So until next time, take care.